Well, guys, we are continuing to work with fractions. Today and the rest of the week, we're going to be looking at equivalent fractions. We're going to do two things with fractions. We're going to decompose them. When you think about decomposing, things get smaller. They start breaking down, right? And we're going to compose them, which means we're going to make bigger pieces, build them back up to make equivalent fractions. And so we've looked at this just a little bit where we're going to draw some lines in our boxes and help us kind of use an area model to find equivalent fractions. And so what we see here on number 1, it says each rectangle represents one whole. So in other words, this is one whole rectangle. Draw horizontal lines to decompose each rectangle into the fractional units to help you find equivalent fractions. So some of them are done for us, such as this one, and some of them we're going to find out on our own by drawing the lines. So this whole rectangle is divided into thirds. So these lines right here and here. Here's 1/3, here's another third, here's another third. And we have shaded in 2/3. Now, if we drew a line across the middle, we would split this rectangle into not thirds, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're wanting to know how many sixths is the same as these 2/3. So how many sixths would be shaded if we divided this into sixths as compared to the 2/3 that would be shaded? So we just count and see, right? We go 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 of the sixths shaded. So the answer is 4. Okay, so 2/3 is an equivalent fraction to 4/6. That means they equal the same thing. They're just divided into smaller pieces. The sixths are. The thirds is split it into 3 pieces. But if we split it in 6 pieces, then you've got 2/3 or 4/6. It's kind of what we're looking at today and really the rest of the week. So let this lesson today is a little easier, help us get some foundational knowledge for the rest of the week. We're doing the same thing on all these, except the lines aren't drawn on the rest of them for us. So what we have here is this whole rectangle divided into, and I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. This whole rectangle is divided into fifths, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fifths. And we have 2/5 shaded in. 2/5, 1, 2 fifths shaded in. Now we've got to make 10 boxes, which means we're going to double that 5. So we're going to draw one line in the middle. And now we've split our box into tenths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So on your assignment today, you'll need to draw these and split. You'll need to draw a line to split them. You're going to need to do it on notebook paper on your homework so you can see it visually, okay? So we've taken these 2/5 and now we're asking ourselves, how many tenths are equal to 2/5? Well, again, when we draw the picture, we can just count them, can't we? 1, 2, 3, 4 tenths are equal to 2/5. So the answer would be 4. These 4 tenths are the same thing as the 2/5. They're an equal amount of that rectangle. We call them equal fractions, equivalent fractions. Equal and equivalent mean the same thing. All right, let's look at this one. We've got a rectangle that represents 3/4 shaded in. 1, 2, 3 out of 4 shaded in. 3/4 shaded in. But it wants us to split it into 12ths. Now we have to ask ourselves, what times 4 is 12? 3 times 4 is 12. So I'm going to draw not 3 lines, but remember, if we draw 2 lines, it splits each one into 3 parts. That's kind of confusing, I know. But to make 12ths, we need to split these 4ths into 3 parts each, right? Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 12ths is the same as 3/4. All these, when we drew these two lines across, it split this rectangle into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It split it into twelfths. Before we drew those two blue lines, it was just 3/4, but now it's 9/12. That's the tricky part, is trying to get that divided into this number. Make sure you think about it and might want to count them. Make sure you got them divided correctly before you start counting the area that's shaded. Okay, moving to the next one. We've got to draw the area model. You've got to draw them anyway for every problem, but I have to draw them on this one because it's not done for us. So we've got 3/5. All right, so I need to make this fifths, which means I need to draw 4 lines. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I need to shade in how many? 3. 3/5. 1, 2, 3/5. Now I've got to make these 3 6 pieces. So I'm going to need to double the 3. So that means I'm going to draw one line. I'm going to split them to make them twice as many. Let's make sure I have turned that 3 into 6 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the 3 that were shaded are now 6 that are shaded. And I'm looking for 6 out of how many boxes altogether now, since I split it. Well, it should be 2 times as many as 5. It should be 10, shouldn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 3/5 is the same as 6/10. This can be a little tricky. You really have to think about it. One of the things that makes it tricky is you're looking at, you got to see what you're doubling, that top number or that bottom number. That makes it just a bit tricky. We're going to draw another rectangle here. And we've got to show 3/4 this time. So I'm going to divide it into fourths. So I'm going to draw 3 lines. And now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. And I've got to shade in 3 out of 4, 3/4. 1, 2, 3. And now I'm going to split these fourths into eighths. So those 4 parts have to turn into 8 parts. Well, 2 times 4 is 8, so I can just double them by drawing a line down the middle, and it splits that 4 into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 parts. Okay, 2 times 4 is 8. If I do 2 times 3, what do you think I'm going to get? Should be 6, shouldn't it? Let's count and see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, so 6/8. 3/4 is equivalent to 6/8. And that's how you're going to do your assignment for today. I think there's 5 problems. Draw them correctly. Make sure you've got them split right after you draw the first problem. If you draw this one, make sure you split it right. If you need to draw 2 lines, maybe just 1, just think about it. Make sure you've got the right number once you've drawn your second line so that you can get the right answer. Okay, take your time. Do a good job. We'll talk to you later.